Assalamualaikum Sam. Welcome to Member Spotlight.
Alaikum assalam. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Would love to hear your story about how you started Fathers Connect.
Well, it was more of an iterative process. I started out with coaching men in general, and I quickly found out that there was a need in this space where fathers were going through divorce and had no answers when it came to facing someone who was very high conflict and wanted to do vindictive things such as threatening to take the kids away and to uh, do a bunch of manipulative tactics to basically inflict pain on fathers, and they had no answer. And so it ultimately inspired me to create this company.
All right. And how long have you been doing it?
So we've been in business for about a year. We're fairly new. So, yeah.
All right. What I'm not actually aware of any other companies that are working in this area. So, what makes you different in general, and what's your how? How do you differentiate yourself?
So you're right. You're correct. There is no other company that kind of does what we do. There are some kind of sort of close competitors. I would say the first one being co-parenting, high conflict co-parenting courses, and we differentiate from them because we dig much deeper than they do. I've taken all the top ones, and they tend to be very vague, very generic, and as such is not very helpful, to actually apply it. And that's why the price point is where it's at for those courses. The other alternative that I've heard about are divorce coaches. How we differentiate from divorce coaches is that divorce coaches usually go through divorce themselves, and then they whatever they learn from their one experience in divorce, they try and help um, their clients. And I mean, I feel that we differentiate from them because we don't just base it off of just one person's experience. We are science and data driven. We take decades of research and thousands of cases, and then we come to the conclusions of how exactly we're going to approach this. And we are prepared for all different kinds of situations instead of just the one that the divorce coach has happened to go through. Um, and then therapists, we are different from therapists, of course. Therapists are great for sort of unpacking and healing trauma, but they have no experience in high conflict divorces. So those are the ones I can think of at the top of my head.
All right. So, can you walk us through with like a one example that you have worked with, and how, where you found that person, and how you were able to help him throughout the
Sure.
journey?
So generally, well, a common instance of how people find us is through our free divorce prep PDF that we offer. Um, and once they kind of read that and they see that what we do, they get interested. And so we have plenty of instances where a father comes to us. One example would be a father in a situation where they have, let's say, two kids, and um, the mother is bad mouthing the father in front of the kids. They have 50-50 custody, but the mother's not following court orders, is making a life a living hell for the father. The kids are starting to hate and absorb that anger for the father because they are copying what the mother is doing. And when the father is trying to kind of be private. Generally, the fathers are not trying to cause issues, and so their general response is to kind of just not say anything. And because of that, that's part of the problem. And the kids have no other opposing sort of information to go off of, and so they just absorb, this negativity that they're getting from mom, and they actually start to uh, become alienated from the father. So parental alienation is a very common issue that we come across for fathers that come to us for help.
Okay. Do you have any data that you can share in terms of the high conflict divorces with
Sure.
initiated like by wife or husband, and how like where is most conflict seen coming from?
So as far as the data says, there's no real doesn't favor one side or the other. I think either side are uh, pretty even as far as who initiates the high conflict divorce. I think but based on what we've seen, women have a lot more support. Women have a lot of more ways to answer high conflict rather than men. Men right now, fathers in particular. That's why we're
And
here.
this you're referring to the legal system that we have.
Sorry.
This you are referring to as the legal system that we have.
No, I'm
It's
saying
a
as far
personal
as responding to high conflict, knowing how to address high conflict. Uh, Women in general, I feel they have more programs out there for them that are targeted to help and support women rather than men.
oh, okay.
Right?
All right. So
In
they
this,
are more educated in terms of how to
yes.
manage the situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Versus men in general aren't there, lacks that kind of support. So generally, you find men who struggle to get custody. Men struggle to get the same kind of benefit of the doubt that women generally get in court. There's a court bias, and this is very well documented. This is not something that's we're just thinking about it. This is very well documented, and there's stigmas associated with that. So yes, that's some of the data and how it affects the children is children of divorcing parents, especially high conflict, are a much higher uh, chance of divorcing themselves when they grow older, um, and more likely to become delinquent, more likely to drop out of college, more likely to do drugs. Just it's more likely to struggle emotionally. There's a lot of things that can affect children also statistically after divorce. So
Okay. All right. Is there like when you're looking at and you have been doing it for about a year, where do you see your business going from here?
I think our business has the ability to be the number one high conflict program for fathers in the United States, if not the world. Um, I think we have, we're developing and continuously improving upon our program. And it already is doing really, really great for the fathers who have taken it. And I think we have the opportunity to expand and to be basically the go to for this kind of situation.
Okay. How has it changed you personally when you started doing this work?
Um, well, it definitely challenges you. Something that anyone who works in any kind of field that helps men is there's always a challenge with you know uh, having seeing showing that it's okay to get help. I think that's a big challenge in any industry where you're helping men, especially in the emotional side of things,
Hmm.
is uh, is getting them to see that if you don't get help, you're only hurting yourself. You're only suffering, and you're going to suffer for another 10, 20 years um, if you refuse help, and so that's the real challenge, and that can really challenge someone like me when I'm trying to figure out how do I show and how can I explain it better for men who are on the fence. How can I reach them? How can I speak to them? That this is nothing to be ashamed of. This is one of the most complicated things is kids and these in relationships. It's very complicated, so there's no shame in getting help. And so that's the message that I'm constantly being challenged to get across and to help as many people as I can.
All right. What is stage people generally do reach out to you?
Usually reactive. Usually, oh my gosh, we spent a whole bunch of money, and my ex-wife has told the court, I'm a domestically violent, and they did a emergency hearing, and now I haven't seen the kids. They took the kids away from me. CPS showed at my house. It's usually a crisis, when they come to us. We do get a few who are proactive. They're like, oh, I want to make sure I got all my bases covered. We also get some people who have actually finalized divorce, but they're seeing the after effects, realizing that it's not over just because you finalized the divorce. If every visitation is a living hell, if she's not following court orders, if she's constantly bad mouthing you and spreading rumors and alienating kids away from you even after the papers have been signed, they're realizing that's a real issue that can go on for over a decade. If your kids are young, you could
Mhm.
be sitting with this person for what, the next 10, 12 years. um, you know that's torture. So we get we get we get men from that stage as well.
Okay. What advice would you give to a man who are looking for your services, like, or who are in a situation that may need your services?
Well, I mean, you can always visit our website, fathersconnect.co. We offer a free divorce prep guide. And also, you can book a call with us, and we can see how we can help you. Um, yeah, and I would just say, there's no shame in this. Get help and do it right the first time. It is so much easier. I can't tell you how many fathers I talked to that wished there was a service like this. And that's why I feel so strongly about, you know, I'm passionate about sending that message, because I don't want to see you 10 years later regretting that you should have gotten help. And it's always after. It's always after you spent $50,000. Always after the kids haven't talked to you in 10 years that you realize that you needed some help, and that you shouldn't have been so, you shouldn't have let your pride or whatever, or fear, get the best of you, and just get the help you need. So if you're at that place, please find us at the website fathersconnect.co.
And how specifically does your program work?
So right now we have basically a very comprehensive program. It's an 8-week program that contains one-on-one sessions. It contains group sessions with other people, other fathers going through the exact same thing as you are. And it has our online course piece that you have a lifetime access to it, and you can refer back to it and do it at your own pace. You want to devour it in a weekend, go ahead. You want to pace yourself as you need it, and it's available on browser and on your phone as an app. So you have it everywhere, and then you'll be a part of that community for life as well, with fathers who either are going or have gone through the same thing as you. So yeah, that's how our program is designed.
All right, that's definitely, it's something that is, I definitely believe it is needed, and it is needed in the society in general, as there are many people who may benefit from it, and not just fathers, I would say, also the other party as well. And that
Absolutely.
when things are more structured and better handled, everybody would benefit from it, and especially children.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, keeping it civil, I think, is beneficial for all parties involved.
Yes.
So yeah.
Mhm. All right. And now coming back to your journey as an entrepreneur, how is that coming along?
How is that? What? Sorry.
How's that journey coming along, and as establishing a business and growing it?
It's difficult. It's definitely difficult. I left corporate because I wanted to do something that was more meaningful. And this is what, I ended up sort of stumbling on after iteration of my business. But it is a tough thing, especially in this particular field. There's a reason why there's no company in this field. It's because it's freaking hard to on the marketing side to show fathers that this is, to do it right the first time, it's worth your while and worth your investment, and worth looking past any sort of shame and anything you're emotionally getting in your own way. So that has been the biggest challenge for me in particular, is to just keep iterating, keep learning from my mistakes, and keep going forward, even if a particular thing didn't work out. To keep going forward and to not give up on fathers, not give up on my program, not to give up on these kids that ultimately will benefit, not just fathers, the kids, and the effects that they will go through throughout their entire lives. I'm a child of a high conflict divorce. I know firsthand what happens to a child and how much they struggle, and most kids who grow into adults never actually fully fix what they got as far as a high conflict divorce. They struggle in their relationships, they struggle to emotionally connect, they struggle with their self esteem, all of it, right? And so, really, I'm not giving up on them as much as I'm not giving up on fathers. So it's been definitely a challenge, but I'm up for that challenge, because if I'm not doing it, then there's no one else doing it. So I better do it. So,
No, definitely. You are doing good work. You are bringing peace to people, and bringing peace to the families, even if they are and I believe I earlier on I was talking to you, and you mentioned that you don't take anybody if there is a chance of reconciliation.
that's right. So I always ask, some people come to us proactive. It's more rare, but some people are like, I just want to see my options. And some of them are not sure if they want to actually divorce. And I don't take business from people who even have a 1% chance of saving the marriage. They say, marriage, I don't want your money. Go save your marriage. And actually, we've been recently partnering with a lot of marriage therapists, so I can have a direct link and direct referral to marriage therapists, so they can immediately address it if possible.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Thank you, Sam, for being here and being part of MCOB, and looking forward to seeing your company grow and benefit more and more people.
appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you. Sonic.
Alaikum salam.